And joining me now is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. Governor, first of all, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
I feel like, absolutely, it's great to have you. I feel like we're at an inflection point in this campaign because it's now 2 weeks since those 34 felony convictions, and I've only seen Donald Trump gain steam both in the polls, with the money, and now he's setting the legislative agenda basically for 2025, going through Washington and bringing Republicans together. And we're 2 weeks out right now from the first debate, where Joe Biden, a lot of people are wondering whether he can get through a 90-minute debate. What are your thoughts tonight?
Yeah, this is a really important time in history, I think, especially for the campaign, for the presidential election that will happen on November 5th, and for our country, for our future. So President Trump is just hitting his stride. You know, he came out of that trial so strong because the American people saw it for exactly what it was. It was a faux attack, fake sham of a trial by a radical judge. And he did not get a fair result, and he is going out, and the people recognize that, and they're looking forward to this debate. They care about the fact that their pockets are emptier than they were when President Trump was in the White House, that Joe Biden has only raised inflation, grocery costs have gone up, gas prices have gone up. I've been in Wisconsin, I'm going to Michigan tomorrow talking to women and talking to independents and voters, and they are coming to President Trump because they recognize that their day-to-day lives are much more affordable, they thrive more, and that this world is safer when President Trump is in the White House.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 weeks ago tonight, the Democrats started their campaign to brand the former president as a convicted felon. It seems like it's backfired in a number of ways, not just his strength and the fact that he's not just surviving but thriving, but also the fact that now President Biden's son is a convicted felon. He was asked about his son today overseas while he's in Italy. He was not asked about whether he'd pardon Hunter, and yet he brought it up anyway. Watch.
I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
I wonder why he's bringing that up. Do you think maybe the Democrats are polling this and realizing that if he pardons his son, it's going to be a political loser? I know a lot of people are anticipating he'll wait until a day after the election.
Absolutely. I think that's what they're doing. They're polling and they're recognizing that the American people aren't with them, and they're losing support among all demographics because they see that this has been a two-tier justice system. And if President Biden intervenes for his son, that only shows even more the corruption and how deep and how wide it goes. So what I think is important for everybody to remember is what Hunter actually got convicted of is the least of all of his crimes. The least of all of his crimes, and this was the one trial that came forward because one judge stood up and said this plea deal that you guys are working on is wrong, and you cannot protect Hunter Biden this way that you did. Thank God for that one judge that did the right thing. But this is also the trial that is protecting President Biden as well. All the other criminal convictions that should be coming forward for the actions that the Biden family has taken to money launder and use their influence and to do business with foreign governments to the detriment of the Americans, those are all ones that tie President Biden to crimes as well. So they're really hoping that we have an opportunity here to turn the tide. But I think President Biden is really, really struggling because the American people see the truth.
Well, yeah, and he may also struggle in the second trial for Hunter because when you talk about potential crimes against President Biden, other members of the Biden family, there's a second trial, as you know, in September out in Los Angeles about Hunter not paying his taxes on income, in part benefiting, he benefited from all of these business deals, China, Romania, Ukraine. Do you think the President of the United States will have exposure in that second trial?
I do believe so, because once they introduced that laptop into evidence, it proved that Joe Biden was a liar and that he'll lie to get his family more money in their pockets, and he'll lie to hurt the American people. And all that laptop should be brought back and everything that's on it used as evidence in these future trials that should be brought forward and completed. And hopefully there'll be as convictions that really are based on truth and what our judicial system is, that it's blind, a judicial system that's blind, and there is law and order and everyone gets treated the same under it.
And there are a lot of people thinking that Joe Biden would have already been forced to the sidelines, but for the fact that he has what they call Kamala insurance. A recent Politico Morning Consult poll showing that only a third of voters think it's likely that Vice President Harris would win an election were she to become the Democrat nominee. Your thoughts about the vice president? She has all these stumbles, the cackling, and all the rest of it. She doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, does she?
No, she doesn't. And I do believe you're exactly right, Ed. You have hit the nail on the head that Joe Biden probably would have already been pushed to the side and retired if she were an acceptable candidate. But I mean, can you even imagine debating her? How fun would that be? To sit down and debate her on issues that, I mean, look at all the things that she's been put in charge of by Joe Biden, the border and guns and everything, and she's just absolutely done nothing. So, to have a conversation with her on that would be just as interesting as this debate is going to be with President Trump and Joe Biden.
Preview that debate for us then. 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to see former President Trump, President Biden, if in fact Joe Biden shows up. I mean, there are still some people saying, well, wait a second, is he going to back out of this? There's a report today that Democrats are getting nervous that Joe Biden hasn't done any debate prep. He's been flying back and forth to Europe, not looking very strong on the world stage. Preview what you think we'll see when voters have a close look at both of these men.
Well, I think he will certainly be there. He'll show up for it. They're going to have him prepared and doing debate prep. I think they've got a very controlled debate here on the first one, and they've certainly tried to put it on friendly territory for President Biden. So those are going in his favor. But the problem is that he just isn't with us anymore. You know, he's a man that's aging and old and doesn't have the mental capacity or physical capacity for the job anymore. And President Trump is only getting stronger. He's building momentum. He's concise and clear. What he did today on Capitol Hill by laying out a legislative agenda was exactly what we've all been hoping for. He wants America to be successful, and he's focused on the fact that when he gets back in the White House, he wants to deliver results immediately for every single family that lives here.
So if a lot of people looking at the fact that this first debate was so early, Joe Biden demanded that it be in June. He's the one who set that timetable. Usually it's after you officially become the nominee, raising eyebrows. And I thought at the time, wait a second, having covered politics a long time, that perhaps Joe Biden is trying to convince Barack Obama, other Democrat Party elders, I can go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump. And if he can't do it, if he can't prove that in late June, they may yank him before the Democrat convention in August. You think they may go to the bullpen, or is that a fantasy?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think that's a real true potential for that happening. And I don't know if it was Joe Biden's decision or the rest of those Democrat elders. They may have made that decision for him. So I think it'll be interesting to see that it's this early. It'll be interesting to see how he does. And this race could dramatically change in the next several weeks and in the next month or two. So, I'm excited about the potential but I also think that we as Republicans and conservatives and those supporters of President Trump need to be focused on the people and talk to people on the ground and win the hearts and minds of the American people, not just focus on political rhetoric and what we always talk about and demonizing the other party. We need to give them a plan for how we're going to make their lives better, how we're going to secure the border, how we're going to deal with these evil foreign countries that are currently living on the edge of World War III with some of the actions that this Biden administration has taken. So we do that. We reassure the American people that we love America and that our policies deliver them a better future. I think we'll win, and we'll win big.
Well, and former President Trump started laying out that agenda a bit today, and he's going to continue to do it at various rallies between now and November. Win and win big. Those are words that are going to resonate with a lot of people tonight. Governor Noem, we appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Always great to have the governor.